Is the right to privacy more or less than the right to free speech? And are there laws out there that protect the violators of that privacy? The First Amendment can be a double-edged sword. It can give you the right to say and do what you need to say to affect change, but it can also uh, be trumped by the right to privacy, and sometimes trumps the right to privacy. Deep fakes are some of them are protected by the First Amendment. And you may ask how? Well, first of all, sex and videotapes. Okay. Now, first of all, what is the biggest weapon you could have to fight this? Well, the court of public opinion. That's the only way you can actually fight a lot of these things. And if you know anything of how deepfakes are made, they have a stock footage and then they use photographs to change the face. Okay, and I'm talking about the sexual ones, the sexual deepfakes. Okay, now who owns copyright to that footage? Well, sometimes it's just footage. No one knows where it comes from. Okay, and so usually no one owns that footage. No one owns copyright, I should say. And so what about the pictures that they use to modify it? Well, what's funny is if it's on social media, it's usually considered public domain. A good example is if you've ever seen the TV show CSI, when they were trying to introduce the new TV show called CSI Cyber, that's what a person, the bad guy, did. They basically went on their social media account and created a digital avatar. And that digital avatar was actually legal to use, even though it, in my opinion, shouldn't be. And what's also interesting, which you should know, is do you know that the actual footage of like sporting events is not copyrightable? Just like the acts of sex or sexual activity is also not copyrightable. So you can't say, okay, we're going to do this, this, and this, and no other porno can you follow this, repetition. No, you can't do that. That's not copyrightable. And here's something else that you should know. For example, like with sex tapes, there's a famous sex tape by Paris Hilton. Okay, you would think Paris Hilton would own the copyrights to that, but she doesn't. There's a guy named Rick Salmon who owns the copyright to that, not Hilton herself. Now, I got all this information from an article entitled 15 Minutes of Shame. Now, here's some things that you should know about the other side of the coin, where deepfakes, where not deepfakes, but the First Amendment is helping with videotapes. Okay, the federal court has said that people have the right to record police officers in the line of duty. Okay, because a lot of police officers were actually, how should I say this, arresting people to who were videotaping them. And they said that the public has the right to videotape them because they're public figures. And this is very important because, and I just so you know, I got that from Harvard Law Review. But this, like I said, this is really important because in Kansas, and I'm getting this from a Kansas Law Review, there was a suspect and a police officer. The suspect didn't want to get arrested, so they ran. Now, according to the police officer, he tackled the guy. The guy reached for his taser, and because he was reaching for the taser, he got out. The police officer got out his gun and shot the guy. Now, that was not all. That's not what happened, because the person had the right to videotape the police officer. They videotaped the police officer running after the suspect, shooting the suspect in the back, and then planting the taser. Yeah, the police officer then was charged with murder. But what's interesting is that courts will always side with the press because of the press clause in the First Amendment. But it can be contradictory when it comes to private citizens. Okay? Now, in conclusion, you don't always have to say in a video of yourself. The video may be protected by the First Amendment. And if you're a public figure, you may not have any protection at all. And we've got to change laws. Because, let's face it, we need some of these protections correctly, like the one with the videotaping of the police officers. But we need to also fix it so that the people who, take sex tapes and, trying to make money off of them, even though they're not in them, they need to be stopped. And we need to fix these laws. It's not right to do this to people. Thank you.